This is the Odyssey, one of the wildest, oldest, and most influential stories ever told. After helping win the Trojan War by coming up with the Trojan horse idea, Odysseus had to get home with his men. It should have taken a couple of weeks. Instead, he spent the next 10 brutal years lost at sea facing man-eating giants, six-headed monsters, conscious whirlpools, seductive goddesses trying to kill him, impede him, and delay his trip home. In the next 6 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a super abridged version of the Odyssey because it's actually super long and show you why this ancient story still resonates today, because it's not just because it's a sword and sandals action-packed thriller, but because the meanings resonate with us and the message still maps onto our lives today. Let's get into it. So they finished the Trojan War, and Odysseus was the guy who came up with the idea of the Trojan horse to get in there. And now him and his 600 men on like 12 ships are on their way home. But these numbers quickly diminish because of all, the problems on the journey ahead. So the first thing they come across is the island of the Cicones, and they raid this island and take their stuff, and that's all good. But they get too greedy, stay too long. They end up coming back and then, killing a bunch of Odysseus's men. Totally unnecessary. First little, temptation of greed, which, ruins the trip. Next island they come across is that of the Lotus eaters. Now, the Lotus eating island is a little bit freaky because they feed you this fruit. They want you to eat it, and it just makes you lose all desire or ambition or will to do anything. And the men just want to hang around all day and do nothing. And Odysseus is like, we need to get out of here. And so, he grabs their men, doesn't let anyone else eat, goes to the next island. So the next island is the island of the Cyclops, which they didn't need to stop on, but Odysseus was curious. So they go on the island and they get trapped by the Cyclops in his cave, and he's trying to eat them. And they end up coming up with this plan where they stab him in the eye when he's not ready, and they trick him, and Odysseus tells him his name is Nobody, a bit of a Greek joke, and they end up escaping on the underside of his goats and sheep, which he had in the cave. And as he got attacked, he's screaming out for help to the other Cyclopses, and they're like, who's attacked you? And he says, nobody's attacked me, and they roll their one eye, not believing him. Odysseus is running away, gets on the ship, but he just can't help, because of pride, getting the credit for this clever plan, and yells out, by the way, my name's not Nobody, it's Odysseus. Terrible news for Odysseus, though, is that the Cyclops, Polyphemus, is Poseidon's son, and now Poseidon's going to curse the rest of the journey. So from here, they go to King Aeolus, and he has this floating island, and he's the god of winds, and he gives them this bag of winds and says to Odysseus, this is the wind that'll help you get home. They get all the way just about at the shore of Ithaca, and by the way, what's going on in Ithaca? That's where Odysseus was from, that's his kingdom. His wife's been waiting for him for 10 years, and now all these suitors, 100 guys, are inside the house eating his food, cracking onto his wife, constantly begging her to marry one of them, and she's kind of holding them off, but can't hold them off forever before they kill her and her son, Odysseus' son. So anyway, that's going on in Ithaca. So they're just about at the shore of Ithaca, and then the men get envious of Odysseus and think maybe he's hiding some treasure in this bag. They open it up, the rest of the winds come out of cyclones and hurricanes, which blow them all the way back to King Helios, and he's not helping them now because now he doesn't trust them. From there, they go onto this other island, which has this little cove which looks all safe, and all the ships go in there except for one. That's Odysseus' ship, and this island is filled with cannibal giants, and they appear and descend down on the ships, destroy them all. Odysseus escapes with his ship, so now he's gone from 600 men to one ship. From here, then they go to the island of Circe, the witch. Circe lives in this castle in the middle of this forested island. She's turning everyone into pigs, but luckily for Odysseus, his great-grand-uncle or grandfather or whatever is Hermes, and he helps him trick Circe so he doesn't get turned into a pig, and makes her promise to not turn him into a pig, and then she kind of falls in love with him and gives him help for the rest of his trip. So she says, you need to go to the Underworld, and you need to talk to this guy Tiresias. He's a prophet, and he can help you, and tells him other stuff to look out for. So he sets sail after sleeping with her, and he comes across the Underworld. So the Underworld's on the edge of the world. It's neither day or night. He does this little ritual involving milk and wine, and then all the shades of people who have died come up. And Tiresias is there. He's the prophet, and says, everyone's trying to marry your wife. You need to get home. And then Odysseus sees someone he didn't expect to see. He sees his own mother. He finds out his mother died from his dead mother, and she's saying, I died from grief, but your wife is loyal, you need to get home. So he's really destined to get home. And then he also sees Achilles, which was his buddy in battle, who was very live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse. But now he's regretting dying because he's like, I'd rather be a poor man alive than king of the dead. You should just get home, live a normal life, love your wife, and be a good man. So he's like, I really got to get home. So he's going to get home, but he's still got a few more trials. So next he comes across the Sirens. You've probably heard of the Sirens. They sing you to your death by saying this sort of hypnotic thing. They make it through that by Odysseus tying himself to the mast while they go past. And then they come across this other series of terrible choices. So on the right-hand side, if you go this part of the ocean, there's these rocks called the Planetes, which just follow your ship and then smash it. Everyone's going to die. So the other option is another two options. So the other option of this one, they're two sisters. One is a whirlpool who's conscious, sucks everything down once a day, spits it up. And the other is the sister who lives on this cliff, which is like this six-headed, multi-legged, shark teeth, dog-faced woman who, when you go by, the six heads come down and eat six of your crew. So Odysseus has to do this. He doesn't tell his crew, but he's got to make the sacrifice. And he gets through, and it's all tragic and everything. From here, they land on the island of Helios, which is the sun deity. And Odysseus was told by the prophet, do not eat the sacred cows. And while he was talking to Athena, his crew end up sacrificing one of the sacred cows. And Odysseus is like, how could you have done this? And they were like, we were doing it as a sacrifice to the god. But of course he doesn't care. And he says, I'm never going to let you see the light of day again, literally, to all humanity unless Zeus does something. So Zeus strikes the ship. All the men die except Odysseus now. Now he's one man on a plank, went from 600 men to just him. And from there, he lands on the island of Calypso. Calypso is this beautiful goddess that lives on a paradise island who is constantly tempting him to leave his wife and be with her because she will give him immortality and help him live forever. He's stuck there for 7 years because he wants to get home. He still sleeps with her, but he wants to get home to his wife. So eventually, after 7 years, Zeus and Calypso are like, enough is enough. And then he gets home on this raft with Poseidon messing up the trip on the way. So he rolls up on this island of the Phaeacians. So the Phaeacians are good people, and they're have him at the table with all the dinner and stuff, and then they get their little jester, poet, singer guy, and he starts singing about the Trojan War and about Odysseus. It's been so long now, 20 years, that he's part of history, and the story's all wrong. And he's like, let me tell you the real story. Tells them the real story. They give him a ship. They're like, you got to get back home to your wife. And so he lands. It's been 20 years now on Ithaca. When he lands there, Athena is there, and she turns him into an old man because he's got to test people's loyalty. So he meets his son, 20-year-old son now, and his best mate, and they do this big secret plan involving all the suitors, involving this bow and arrow test. And thankfully, Odysseus is descendant from the god that invented archery, and no one could do his bow except this old man. And then he's like, ha, except he doesn't rip off a mask because he still looks like an old man magically. And he's like, I'm Odysseus, and then starts killing everyone, and all his son and his mate helps as well. And then the wife's not like my hero, because she's like, how do I know you're real? Because, you could just be a shapeshifter. And they do this, she has this riddle thing to test him about moving the bed. And he's like, aha, you can't move our bed because one post is actually made out of an olive tree. So that's the story, and peace is finally restored to Ithaca, and Odysseus got home. But nearly 3,000 years later, why are we still telling this story? Why does it resonate with us? We may not be on a ship, facing conscious whirlpools, but we also have an important responsibility we need to do. And our own vices, like our greed or our curiosity or our envy, could distract us and derail us or shipwreck us, stopping us fulfilling what we know we should fulfill. I think that's why this story's so special. At its heart, it's not about really fighting monsters and magic, but it's about the long, painful journey home and making sure you don't forget who you are on the way. Anyway, that's my super abridged versions. If you like it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know. If I missed something or made a mistake, let me know. I don't even have 100 subscribers, so please subscribe. I'm really going to notice if you leave me a comment. I'm definitely going to reply as well. I think it's cool seeing how mythology and history kind of map onto modern stories and human psychology today. So yeah, let's talk about it. Thanks for watching.